Hello everybody, 99 does. How you doing today? Everybody doing good? Have a good weekend? Good Mother's Day, I hope so. I had a lovely Mother's Day. I'm going to get into a little bit of this tariff stuff and auto workers. You might think it's a good thing that Trump lowered those Chinese tariffs from 145% down to 30%. You might think that's a good thing. And China lowered their tariffs down to, I think it's 10%. I think that's what it was. But there's still no reduction in steel and aluminum anywhere in the world. So guess what? He's not helping you at all. And I just want to know what you think the American auto workers are thinking now that with his little talk with England, the Mango Moose Knuckle has downgraded tariffs on cars from the UK while he keeps 35% on American-made vehicles. Remember he slapped that 10% tariff on everybody across the board globally? Remember that? Anything coming into the United States, automatically 10% tariff. Plus 25% on Canadian and Mexican-made vehicles. Think of it. Half of every car is made in Canada. Half. On top of that 25% tariff on steel, which cars are made of, in case you didn't realize, and 20%, which breaks down to 10% on the global, and then an already 10% tariff imposed on aluminum, so now it's 20%. Now for the auto industry, just the aluminum tariff alone will boost a Ford 150 to a cost of about $3,000 more, just on the aluminum tariff. And add the steel tariffs for your F-150, and that truck went up $12,000. Now, you have prices skyrocketing everywhere because of these tariffs, but think of the materials just for the seats in the vehicle. Or how about the console? You know, the steering wheels, the leather coverings for all that, the vinyl inside. How about the carpet on the floor? Or that nice cloth they put on the roof of your car? How about that? All that's going to increase. It probably increase the price of your little truck for another $2,000. Now, think about this. With Trump continuing to screw over union jobs because he hates the unions, he already said it. He said that he would hire a whole new crew of construction workers so he wouldn't have to pay them overtime, sick time, or benefits. So he'd get rid of the original group and bring in another group, just so he wouldn't have to pay overtime. Now, he loved it, and he laughed his fish white flabby ass off when he was talking to Elon, when Elon fired over 3,000 people from his company because they wanted to join a union. And Trump goes, "Oh, you're a good cutter, good cutter, good cutter." Yeah. He fired them for that. Now, the big three North American car plants, Ford, Stellantis, and GM, are sick of the Moose Knuckles bullshit. Apparently, they're talking about closing plants, packing up all their stuff and moving it to China. There is talk that Stellantis is looking at partnerships with China. Ford is looking to build EV trucks in China because 145% tariffs on imports coming from China create uncertainty and huge increased costs for automakers. I don't know what that's going to do with this little truce he's got for 90 days, but I'm thinking it'll go back because that's the way he works. Ford pulled its annual guidance on Monday because of Trump's tariffs and said the levies would cost Ford $1.5 billion in earnings before interest and taxes. And shares are falling as well, and tariffs are expected to add another $2.5 billion in costs overall. So nobody is happy with this stuff. Nobody. Now imagine when the big three are losing billions of dollars, what do you think is going to happen to manufacturing plants all across the United States, which are mostly in red states, except for Michigan? All you guys in your MAGA hats and shirts that said union workers for Trump, what are you going to do now? Think of all the auto workers that will be unemployed now. Think of the towns and the cities and those plants that those plants are in. Think real hard. Think real hard. You thought it was funny when Trump was telling all those other people that your daughter can't have 2 dolls. And now what would a kid need 250 pencils for? they can have 5 pencils instead. You thought that was funny. Oh, look, Trump's owning those libs. He's owning those libs. Well, guess what? You won't be able to afford any pencils for your kids. No dolls, no ATVs for them to ride around in and party on. No Trump boat parades because you're going to have to sell your boat because you're going to need to have a living. And can you pay your mortgage on unemployment? I'm just wondering if there's enough money for that. Can you pay your mortgage with that? How many steaks are you going to be grilling on your aluminum and steel barbecues? How many? Remember, Trump did this to you. You don't think Trump does anything wrong. Everyone is out to get him. They got Trump derangement syndrome. Like I said many times before, Trump is deranged, and yes, by God, it is a syndrome. He is that sick. And he will send your jobs and take food out of your kids' mouths and your grandma's mouth because he is cutting Medicare, Medicaid, and your Social Security. So any plans that you paid in, the plans that you paid into since you started your first job, you don't get it. The mango moose knuckle is fucking with every aspect of your life. Think of it. If you have no job, what happens? Unemployment only lasts so long. So all those auto workers that used to grab a breakfast sandwich and a coffee on the way to work now have the folks that handed those through that drive-through window, half of their business coming from the 3 shifts a day that used to stop, both coming and going from work, have to lay off staff now because you're not coming. There's the grocery store that the shelves will be almost empty as they were during the pandemic, worse than the biggest pandemic anybody's ever had in 100 years. Grocery prices will skyrocket because your God King wants his rich corporate friends to stay that way and won't lift a finger to stop the gouging of the customers for their bottom line. Restaurants, forget that. They had to close because nobody could afford to go and eat there anymore. So all their staff is laid off. All manners of entertainment, movie theaters, not that anybody goes to theaters anymore, but theaters too, because nope, you stay home, pop your own popcorn, because you won't be able to afford Elon's Starlink either, don't forget that. So it's back to rabbit ears on your TV. Now that's just a joke, because I don't even know if they make those anymore. But all the folks that work in the automotive industry will cut staff because you won't be able to fix your car. Gas prices are going up, so that's a good thing, right? Because you're not going to have a car to be able to drive anyway. You won't be able to go anywhere. You won't have to worry about that. That's one less thing. All this because Trump is too stupid to plan past his next move past his lips. 4D chess? My ass. He isn't even playing tiddlywinks, that son of a bitch, for Christ's sake. His economic professor from Wharton University said he was the stupidest son of a bitch he ever tried to teach. Good businessman? No. But sure, he's putting you into financial bankruptcy, and Trump is a master at bankruptcy. Trump University, Trump steaks, Trump gin, Trump shirts, Trump Taj Mahal, the Trump Plaza Hotel and Casino, Atlantic City, Trump's World's Fair, Atlantic City, Trump Marina, Trump Casino Hotel, Casino Hotel in Gary, Indiana, Trump 29 Coachella. Couldn't even keep something in Coachella, are you kidding me? All bankrupt. He makes his living selling bitcoins or shitcoins that on the last one, only 57 wallets got any profit whatsoever. The other 780,000 wallets went broke. But sure, he's laughing all the way to the bank and at you as you try to buy a doll for your little girl or a Tonka truck for your kids to play in, which is made of steel. He did this because he is a stupid man. He is not a good negotiator. He is a dementia-ridden albatross around the necks of the American people. All of these things are happening because tariffs are the best things in the world. It's in his favorite word ever, even before love. Tariffs is the best word. If Trump keeps these tariffs on just the auto industry alone, and he says they are permanent, He has done his job. He has betrayed the American workers, and he will have abandoned American communities and the possible collapse of industrial greatness. Real families are facing real hardships in real communities, will face real devastation. His tariffs are destroying farming communities because equipment costs will soar. Potash, fertilizer for crops will be too high. Soon, the only food that will be grown will be for the local families, because the world is turning its back on the God Pope King, Trump. He isn't owning the libs, you idiot. He's got you whining and whinging about Biden is the one for this decline in jobs. Because that is what he will tell you. Nothing is ever his fault. You ever notice that? Absolutely nothing is his fault. And when it is his fault, he passes the buck and fires somebody else. That's not a good businessman. That's an asshole. He has got to be the stupidest president ever. He knows nothing. He does nothing other than to sign executive orders that are mostly illegal because they have to be passed by Congress to be legal. And you're all going, oh, look what he's doing for us. Look what he's doing for us. With the cameras rolling, just like that old silent movie actress coming down the stairs. I'm ready for my close-up, Mr. DeMille. That's him, Norma Desmond. That's him. Are you ready for my close-up, Howie Lutnick? That's his biggest cheerleader. I still say put a big cheerleader bow on a little pleated squirt and give him pom-poms. But anyway, but he takes credit for absolutely everything. Like when India and Pakistan, the war that Modi started, through mediation with the UK, Saudi Arabia, along with all the other Gulf countries, a peace treaty was brokered. Trump and Rubio took all the credit. It was the United States, nobody else. It was Trump and Rubio. They took all the credit. And as he was announcing this big truce and this ceasefire, the bombs were falling. So he must have to take credit for that too. And as far as these new tariffs, he's saying that he's going to cheapen drug prices, right? Remember I was talking about your grandma and stuff like that? Well, you know what? He got rid of all those lower drug prices that Kamala and Joe Biden had. But guess what? He got rid of them so he could put them in there. It's going to be the exact same thing it was under Biden. And he says it's going to be reduced 30, 50, 80, 90%. Yeah, tell that to the drug companies and his rich buddies. They're going, no, because Americans will pay those prices when they're 10 times cheaper in Canada. He made a comment about, he has a really big friend, a very rich friend, very wealthy, very powerful man in England. And he called me up and he said, hey, President, he used to call me Donald, but now he calls me President. Called me up and said, what's with this fat pill I take? It used to be it's $88 over here in London when I go to New York. It's $1,300. What's with that? You got to get these prices down. Now, if this guy's a multi-billionaire, do you actually think that he's getting on the horn to call that fat, wrinkly bastard? Do you think he's going to pick up the phone and say, oh, darling, my fat pills cost 10 times more in the United States? He could pay for everybody's goddamn fat pills in the United States, for Christ's sake, with the kind of money this guy's got. Well, you got to remember, too, this guy's probably fictional. Pulled him out of his ass or something. Everybody's kissing his ass, apparently. Maybe that's where this guy is, hidden up his ass. So, yeah, don't believe anything he's telling you. He's handing you a load of goods. So, anyway, my hangers on. I want to thank you for coming back and hanging on for one more day, because I was here. I appreciate that. If you're new to the channel, give us a thumbs up. Like me, love me, share me. And please, don't forget to subscribe. I'm losing people again. What the hell is up with that? I don't know. Is YouTube playing with me? Come on, let's get this word out. I love you very much. Mwah. And don't forget to be good to you first so you could be good to somebody else. I love you all.